before we start this episode. Mike, you just informed us about an update to something that we discussed in episode 404.
Yes, I did, and I cannot take credit for this. This actually came from somebody on the Sports Card Nonsense board on Facebook. So, you've heard us talk in the past about the John Morant 2019-2020 Chronicles rookie card that happens to have I almost said Dolph Sweet. I'm going to keep that in there. I did not mean to say Dolph Sweet, but I did say Dolph Sweet. The card had young Dolph, who's not with us anymore, and another rapper, I forget who, and the parents of The Blind Side. Not the movie, the actual real-life adopted parents of Michael Orr. But then they throw out another name that is in that picture, and I saw him, that just totally just caught me off guard. Todd Bridges is in that card too.
You know, guys, sooner or later, I think we're going to discover there's 50 people on that card.
I took a look at the card. I didn't recognize anybody else. So yeah, that John Morant card, which I think goes for $30, $35, $40 raw, which for a Chronicles rookie card is actually quite a bit of money, even if it wasn't John Morant. It has Young Dolph, or as we know him around here, Young Dolph Sweet. And again, I think Key Glock, that's the other rapper. Again, somebody I'm immensely familiar with. And then both of Michael Orr's adopted parents, and now a fifth person, Todd Bridges. This is better than the Menendez brothers on that 1991 Hoops card of Mark Jackson. Your silence agrees with me. Thank you. I knew I was correct.
I'm not going to lie and say that you're not correct.
So yeah, there's the Amazing Discovery for this week, even though I'm probably not going to use the Amazing Discovery music, but hey, I shocked you last week when I didn't put Chico's name in for the Amazing Discovery thing, so who the heck knows what I'm going to do?
Now, hold on, Mike. Before we even start the theme music, I have to make a correction to last week. Now, Mike, last week in Let's Get Personal, you introduced it as episode 471, but you gave the submission number for Let's Get Personal as episode 2540 and not submission 2540.
I did that on purpose. Episode 2540, spoiler, when we cover it in 48 years, is going to be Let's Get Personal Revisited. Thinking ahead here.
If we're still alive in 48 years, I think humanity has gone downhill. I mean, humanity's gone downhill right now. But if we're still alive in 48 years, everything, God willing, oh God.
Well, I think we're all going to be sort of like Professor Hart from Future Entry VR Troopers, where we are not ourselves. We are virtual representations of ourselves, so lifelike that you cannot tell the difference.
I'm just imagining Greg would be 88 at the time, and Chico would be 93, 94, and I'd be 97. And I could just see us complaining, those whippersnappers, those damn reality shows of 2030. Why do those kids love them?
Nicola Coughlan left Bridgerton to star in A Vehicle for Pauly Shore. Why?
Hey, guys, look what I found. I found a DVD from back in the 2020s. This is ancient material. I can't find a DVD player now. I've got to put it up to my head and use my little psychic Tron device to watch it. Oh, by the way, notice what DVD I pulled out for obvious reasons.
Rest in peace, Dabney Coleman.
Now, hold on, guys. You didn't mention what I was going to say in this conversation. You know what I would have said in this old man conversation? Why does every kid at Hillside want to bang Brittany in season 4 of 15?
Yeah, I think if we're still around in 2073 or 2072, talking about TV shows from 1991, yeah, we just have a little too much time on our hands. We should be getting colonoscopies and have our assistants feeding us oatmeal, but no, we're going to talk about shows from 80 years ago. Hey, it's a good time, I think, to play the theme music.
Yeah.
An anthology about the bad, the short-lived, and the forgotten shows and events in television history. This is It Was a Thing on TV.
Punisher! Control! Tell me before I change my mind!
I give you Super Train.
What did we cover last time with this? I have to go back and think.
The story so far. By the latter half of the 22nd century, huge space cruisers powered by hydrogen ramjet engines had colonized the outer fringes of the solar system. Humankind was poised to explore the dark mysteries of deep space. We wish we could have told you stories about these brave men and women, but we couldn't afford it. Instead, what you're getting is this. This is the story of a beat-up old mining ship which ambles between Earth and the moons of Saturn, transporting raw materials which are badly needed by someone. Is it just me, or does this sound really tedious? No one's gonna like this, a show about people who move rocks from planet to planet, intergalactic rock movers? Who are we kidding? I didn't even want to be a writer. Do you realize how hard it is to type this fast? My fingers are bleeding. Uh-oh.
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 Looks like we're slowing back down. I better start making sense again, so all the cheapos who don't have a VCR with freeze frame will think they really missed out on something important. Which you really need to know to understand this story. You're not going to see any distant moons. You're not going to see any far-off planets. You're not going to see any strange new worlds.
Ha! I got it!
What you are going to see is Dave Lister, a vending machine repairman, and the last human being in the universe. Arnold Rimmer only has dominion over Dave Lister and 2 Scudders. Lister is put in stasis because he brought a cat aboard this gigantic spaceship. Unfortunately, a gigantic nuclear meltdown hits the ship and everybody dies. Except for Dave Lister, who is in stasis, and the cat, who is sealed safely in the hold. Fast forward 3 million years. Dave Lister is the last human being alive. He is left with a decrepit AI ship system and a humanoid creature that descended from his very pregnant cat, and a hologram simulation of Arnold Rimmer, his dead roommate. So the question now becomes, can this ragtag team of space adventurers make it back to Earth without killing each other?
Did not expect that. Very well played.
Now you remember?
No.
Okay. Episode 473. Submission number 2401, Bravo, Red Dwarf USA, the second pilot. Red Dwarf USA was a second pilot commissioned by NBC from 1992.
Now, wait a second. Are you sure you didn't mean episode 2401 for when we cover Red Dwarf, the second pilot revisited in 2070 or whatever?
No, because once we're done with this episode, we're never touching it again.
Fully understand. We're burying it, and I gotcha.
As a bit of a memory jogger, mostly for Greg, Red Dwarf was created by Rob Grant and Doug Naylor for the BBC and it follows the misadventure of the crew of the mining ship Red Dwarf, all of whom are dead except for one single solitary soup vending machine repairman and a creature that evolved from a cat he was rehoming. Joining them, a service mechanoid, a hologram of his dead roommate, and the ship's OS, which is 4 million years past its used by date. It was a big hit on both sides of the Atlantic, so Linwood Boomer decided to get up with Grant and Naylor to bring the show to America with Craig Bierko, Chris Eichman, Hinton Battle, Jane Leaves, and the original Crichton, Robert Llewellyn, in the principals.
Wait, Linwood Boomer? You're talking about the same Linwood Boomer who created Malcolm in the Middle, but also was arguably one of the worst contestants in Celebrity Feud's history?
The very same.
How did this fail with Linwood Boomer at the helm?
Well, in 1992, NBC decided to turn Red Dwarf into an American series and ordered a pilot from Universal Studios. Again, Linwood Boomer teamed up with Grant and Naylor, and by and large, the show went off without a hitch. I mean, the pilot was a masterclass in how to do Red Dwarf for an American audience. Rob Grant and Doug Naylor, along with Linwood Boomer, they restructured the script. The cast had great chemistry, and the production value was top-notch, so much so that Crichton's robot bodysuit was taken back to the UK, which they used for subsequent seasons. Everything about the pilot was done with the greatest of care. But none of that matters if the network doesn't pick it up. And NBC did not pick it up. But they did give the team one more go at it, and it would not just be a reshoot of the UK scripts, but a spec of the kind of show that Grant, Naylor, and Boomer all wanted to do. But it would come at a big cost. Chris Eichman and Hinton Battle, who played Rimmer and Cat respectively, were fired by Boomer, and Boomer himself was asked not to return. In their place, Grant and Naylor brought on Anthony Fusco to play Rimmer, and to play Cat instead of a Broadway West End song and dance man like you had Danny John Jules in the UK and Hinton Battle in the US. They rewrote Cat as a warrior type with an insatiable sex drive and 9 lives to spare. Basically, Knuckles, if he was very thirsty and about 5 feet taller.
But no Bullet, and no Carrie Elways,
Correct.
and no Stockard Channing.
Also correct. Playing Cat in this second pilot is Terry Farrell.
Oh, Dax.
Yes, Dax from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And Anthony Fusco, who was brought on to play Rimmer, sort of looked like the original Rimmer, Chris Berry, but he was known for stuff like Highlander, Eraser, Quiz Show, and Law and Order. His CV is very varied.
Now, hold on a second. Who did he play in Quiz Show?
He played a librarian in Quiz Show.
Oh, man, what a stretch. A librarian in Quiz Show. Someone had to give Richard Goodwin all the information about the Quiz Show scandals, I think.
Either that or they had to give one of the contestants all of the answers. Oh, sorry.
Spoiler, please. In 30 years, but still.
By the way, why haven't we gotten like a Criterion Blu-ray of that? I'm just asking.
But aside from that, Craig Bierko returned as Dave Lister, Jane Leaves returned as Holly, and Robert Llewellyn returned as Crichton. The whole thing, this second pilot, would be an amalgamation of newly shot footage, footage salvaged from the original pilot, and footage from the UK series, all within the framing of a distress call on the last black box that the ship has, shot on what the crew called a garage. All done with a budget of nothing. And it showed. Now, the pilot, as it was presented, it wasn't a full episode. It was a spec shot of a framing device, followed by clips from future episodes. And you're about to see, well, most of it, because it is available on YouTube, with the exception that the person who uploaded it, Ace Rimmer, thanks Ace Rimmer, they had to excise.
Wait, what did you say? What?
Ace Rimmer.
Just let him get out of the system.
The uploader's name, Ace Rimmer, but he had to excise a scene involving Crichton because it was one of those scenes that was taken from a BBC episode, Camille, and they claimed copyright of it. So you're not going to see that scene. But here is what they managed to scrounge up. All 10.5 minutes of it. It begins now, coming soon to a reality near you. Red Dwarf USA.
USA! USA!
And it begins with a shot-for-shot remake of the Wilma Flintstone joke between Lister and the cat. Only in this shot, it is between Lister and Rimmer. If you are watching this along with us, it's sort of why Rimmer is more and I care because than usual. You can see that Anthony Fusco looks a lot more like Chris Berry than Chris Eichmann did. And so the adventure begins. And so this distress call also begins. And you can see how low res this whole production is. And when I say low res, I don't just mean the video, I mean everything. They literally shot this on a soundstage that could double as a parking garage. Dave Lister is basically the main character, and they had to reshoot the hologram scene from the pilot because obviously that's not Chris Eichmann, that's Anthony Fusco. And much like before, Rimmer is a hologram who could only touch himself, so his sex life has not changed.
Hey, look, it's disembodied head of Jane Lee.
We had the introduction of Holly. Now we have the introduction of the cat.
The cats.
Played by all 6 feet of Terry Farrell. She's sort of playing this as a warrior with 9 lives to spare, a devil-may-care attitude about anything, and just the weirdest sex drive I think I've ever seen. If you've owned a cat before, you know cats don't give 2 bleeps about anything. Well, neither does this one. What is the worst that could happen? He'll only kill you, so what? You die, you feel a little embarrassed, you get up, you start again. Pure cat talk. So she says, you stay here and suck your thumb. I'll go and rip off its head, spit down its throat, turn its lower intestines into balloon animals. And that's pretty much all there is to the first part of the pilot. Rimmer's trying to tell Lister how to run things. He accidentally erases the tape.
Oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to accidentally erase a tape. Just ask Dixon's secretary how well erasing a tape worked out.
Those timely 70s jokes, really nice.
The second part of the pilot is clips from future episodes. Like we have a reenactment of Marooned, where Lister is on a planet starving, and Rimmer is offering a cup noodle and a can of dog food. And then we have Shutdown, where Rimmer, Lister, and the cat find a blue missile-looking thing coming from an alien planet. And that's it. Red Dwarf coming soon to a reality near you.
My ass, it's coming to a reality near you.
The first pilot was so good and so well done. You could tell there was a lot of love brought into it. This second pilot was like, we got to get something to these guys.
And also, I think it's very optimistic of them to actually like feature 2 future episodes, even if all they did was record 90 seconds of footage and say, hey, this episode is coming. That's sort of brave. Sort of like predicting, yeah, we're going to be on the air.
Yeah, it's very bold, like John Davidson at Time Machine premiere.
Here we go.
If you're watching us for the first time, maybe you don't know, this is our very first show, but we plan to be here for a very long time.
Hey, Time Machine lasted longer than this. At least in the U.S.
After that pilot, NBC was like, no, I think we're just going to love you where you are right now. So Grant Naylor went back to the UK and worked on, I believe they would have been done with season 4 of Red Dwarf. Now they're going to go back to the UK and work on the rest of the show, which still goes on to this day, mind you.
Quickie correction, as we're recording this, it would have actually been after season 5 of Red Dwarf in the UK. Season 5 happened in February and March of 1992, while season 6 did not happen until October and November of 1993.
The show itself, the franchise, was not exactly killed because of this pilot. The BBC went on to do a whole lot more seasons of this show. It went to Dave at the end of the millennium, and they continued to do the show there. The cast was not hurting for work after this show either, because, you know, Terry Farrell, after this show, she was available to work on Deep Space Nine. And after that, she was available to work on Becker. What else could we say? Red Dwarf continues unabated. This pilot, though, was just a thing on TV. And Crichton got to keep the suit. So, yay. I'm going to do it for this. We swear this is a regular like episode of It Was a Thing, but it was not much to it. I mean, it was a 10-minute pilot. There was a story behind it. That was pretty much the story. And you can listen to more stories at our website at itwasathingontv.com. All of our previous episodes are there. Minisodes, live watches, instant reactions, the whole works. And don't forget to follow us on all social media at It Was a Thing on TV, except for Facebook, which is It Was a Thing on TV podcast, and Mastodon, which is It Was a Thing on TV at tvwatch.party. And if you are following us on YouTube, and we hope you are, don't forget, like, subscribe with notifications on so you stay up to date on all of our episodes, including... someone ring the bell. Greg is about to play his Money in the Bank.
Well, we already did that about 2 months ago, but yeah, it's finally going to happen, folks. Hey, guys, you'll never guess what I got. I got this lamp.
We know you told us on Thursday's episode.
Yeah, and I hope nobody breaks it, because obviously, if the lamp got broke, I would not want something to come out of it.
Me like a cat breaking the lamp, like the one that is about to break your lamp right now.
Oh, crap, it's broke. Oh, no, guys. My lamp, it's broken. Oh.
So what is in Greg's lamp? You'll find out, and so will we this Thursday on It Was a Thing on TV. For Greg, for Mike, for Chico. For Greg, for Mike.
For Chico, yes. Yes, for Chico,
for myself. For myself. For Greg, for Mike, I'm Chico. Thank you so much for listening. Please be kind to one another, and we will see. I'm leaving that in as punishment.
Oh, so
to
am
myself.
I. That's why I wanted you to continue, because that's not getting edited out.
Okay, here's our outro. Bye.
Oh, my lamp is broken. Oh, isn't it just my luck?
Hey, Greg,
What?
do it. I think you're going to do what I think I was going to ask you to do.
Wow.
Okay, so what really goes at the end?
We already did the dialect Red Dwarf joke last year.
Oh my gosh. So we don't need an ending. Cool.
On Monday, Red Dwarf blasts off on an intergalactic mission manned by a select crew of, well, take Second Technician Rimmer, for instance. He's a man devoted to duty.
Is that a cigarette you're smoking, mister? No, it's a chicken. Right, you're on report.
A man spurred on by ambition.
Mister, I have an exam tomorrow which I intend to pass. I know, yeah, by cheating. This is not cheating. Why don't you hand your body in and let them mark that?
A man misunderstood by his superiors. And Lister.
I try and respect Rimmer and everything, but it's not easy because he's such a smeghead.
Lister, on the other hand, has no devotion to anything, little ambition, and is a source of constant surprise to everyone.
Lister, not only are you so stupid, you bring aboard an unquarantined animal and jeopardize every man and woman on this ship. Not only that, but you take a photograph of yourself